All right, Lindsay, here we go with some young quarterback drama today. Depending on who you believe, Baker Mayfield either took an unprovoked shot at Daniel Jones and the Giants, or GQ magazine twisted Baker's words to make it seem like he did. In an article that came out today in GQ, Baker is quoted as saying, quote, "I cannot believe the Giants took Daniel Jones. Blows my mind. Some people overthink it. That's where people go wrong. They forget you've got to win. Either you have a history of winning and being that guy for your team, or you don't." Keep in mind, Daniel Jones had a losing record as a starting quarterback at Duke. Well, later in the day, Baker posted this online. Quote, "This is not what I said, just so we're clear. I also said I was surprised I got drafted number 1. Then was talking about the flaws in evaluating quarterbacks, where I brought up winning being important. Reporters and media will do anything to come up with a clickbait story. Heard nothing but good things and wish nothing but the best for Daniel." Okay, all right, bookmark that for a second, because I got another Browns-Giants story for you. Odell Beckham, in an interview with Sports Illustrated, talking about the trade that sent him from New York to Cleveland, said, quote, "This wasn't no business move. This was personal. They thought they'd send me here to die," unquote. Well, all these comments made their way to Giants headquarters today, where head coach Pat Shurmur addressed them this afternoon.
Quite frankly, on our list of issues of the day, it really doesn't matter what Odell or Baker said. There's many other things that we should probably be discussing.
You know, I certainly have a lot to focus on here. I got a lot to worry about here, and I'm, focused on that. So it's been good, but I, just focus on what I'm doing here.
We drew straws. Mike Garafolo gets to parse through all of these wonderful comments for us today. Mike, welcome back to Total Access here. Take me through first Baker's comments, and did the Giants really send Odell Beckham with some fatality clause in his contract to Cleveland?
We'll start with Baker. I
Yeah.
mean, he said he can't believe the Giants drafted Daniel Jones number 6. I just don't see any other way that could be taken other than a shot at Daniel Jones and maybe the Giants for the pick. If I said I can't believe Scott Hansen is hosting Total Access, there's really only one way that you can take that. But I would never say that, Scott. As for the Odell comments, he suggested in that story that the Giants had a better offer on the table. Now, there were 2 rounds of Odell trade talks. Last year and then this year, once the Giants decided to finally make the move. So let's just talk about this year's deals and the offers that were made, because the other deal that the Giants were mulling was the one with the San Francisco 49ers, and the Niners wanted the Giants to move from 2 to 6, basically to swap picks. And the Giants said, no, we're looking to add a pick here. And if we're to believe Dave Gettleman, he had long since locked in on Daniel Jones. He didn't have to move to number 2 to make that pick. He knew he was going to get him at number 6. So the deal with the Browns was much more valuable for the Giants because they got to add another first-round pick at number 17. So that's the only part of that Beckham thing that I would say for sure I can say is not accurate. The rest of it, it's all opinion.
All right, Mike, I got good news and bad news. Which do you want first?
Hit me with the bad.
Okay, the bad news is the Browns and Giants do not play this year. The good news
what's
is
the good?
They play next year. So we'll check back in. And the other bad news is I'll probably still be hosting Total Access at that time, too. So, sorry.
That's not
Mike
bad
Garafolo,
news,
is all love, my man. Lindsay?
So I've got a context suggestion for this Baker Mayfield quote. Maybe he's talking, as he suggested, about the evaluation of quarterbacks and how important he thinks winning is. And he looks up and he says, like, for instance, I couldn't believe they took that guy because I keep thinking that what they're looking for is quarterbacks who have won, and they took him number 6, and now I'm all confused. Buying it?
I'm not buying it, but I love it. Like, I love it. As a guy in that locker room, I love Baker's fire. I love his passion. And that's what people always rave about with Baker. We know he can throw the football. We know he's a winner. But it's those intangible things. Like, people will follow a guy who says what they mean, and they go out and they do it. Now, Lindsay, does this become a problem if the Cleveland Browns don't start the way we all expect them to start? Maybe.
I mean, if you're going to put another quarterback's name in your mouth in a less than flattering way, you better be balling out, right?
Yeah, but this is why we love Baker. Baker keeps it 100. When Daniel Jones got drafted, we all looked at the TV and said, "What? The Giants took him?" It's a couple different quarterbacks they could have took ahead of him. We all had the same reaction. Baker said it. The only thing I wish he wouldn't have done was come back and retweet and say, basically, that's not what I said. Listen, you said it. That's fine. That's who Baker is. Baker speaks his mind. He said what we all said, but it's getting inside me a little bit because I will never come out and say another receiver is not good.
Well, then why do you enjoy it when he does?
No, but
there's something inside you that says, I would never do that.
I would say it.
No, this is where I'm going. You never hear the same position get on another. Like DB, I would say, oh, man, that cornerback is no good. But I would never say, oh, man, this receiver's no good. That's my position.
But that's literally what we're talking about is Baker did exactly that.
I absolutely would say that, and I've said that before.
Well,
Me and Richard Sherman got into it and we're never going to guard each other, but we still got into it verbally over social media.
Because you guys chirp back there in the defensive backfield. That's your jam. One more thing, and then we'll move on. I think it's worth pointing out that one of the things he was quoted as saying was that you either have a history of winning and being that guy for your team or you don't. Well, there are a couple of quarterbacks in this league right now who, like Jones, did not have winning records in college, and I think you may have heard of them. Their names are Patrick Mahomes and Jared Goff.
Jared Goff scored 22.
They turned out to be pretty good. Anyway, next game for Daniel Jones is Thursday against the Bengals. Next game for Baker and the Browns is Friday right here on NFL Network, 7:30 Eastern at Tampa Bay.